Welcome to the Salt Circle podcast. My name is Hank. With me today is Ben, Master of Time.
Easy there. Easy. Might go to my head. Who knows what could happen?
The Master of Time. That's why this is so easy to schedule.
Yeah. We've had no issues with scheduling at all. Everything according to plan. No time zone problems. Yeah.
Nope. We're gonna talk about magic, I guess, because it's been a while since we did one of those.
And because we can't sync up our tiredness to both be alert enough to rant about the state of things in the world. So
Also that, yes.
it's not a sleepy subject, unfortunately.
Yeah. Did you have somewhere you wanted to start? Or do you want to get into me hitting a high mythic?
Yeah, I don't really have any. I think that's a good place to start. What is your mythic number currently?
Currently I think I'm like 323 or something. Is where I've decayed to.
Oh right, there's like actual decay, isn't there?
Well, it's other people playing, and then their percentage, their rank based on the wins they have is better than where I got to because I stopped playing.
Sure.
So they can climb up me. But also, like, a couple times I looked at it and like I went up 2 spots or whatever, just because that can also happen.
Yeah.
But I just like I don't want to like lose games and then ruin my record.
Yeah. And
there isn't actually any incentive for me to play anymore when I got that high.
If I recall, you peaked at like 81, I think, at one point.
Something.
Yeah,
it was in the 80s.
Crazy.
And then I lost,
and you went to like
112 or whatever. 114.
Yeah, something. Which is nuts. Like, that's wild.
I mean, I got into numbers and I didn't lose till I got to 81. I was just playing until I lost one game or one match, and it didn't happen.
That all-nighter, though. To put this in a bit of context, so Arena has the kind of the traditional ranks. You have bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, mythic, and then how does it go? Like, you get a percentage in mythic and then after a certain
percentage
point,
of all the ranks. Yeah, and then at top 1400 you get assigned a number, and then top 1200 is what you have to be at the end of the month to qualify for the tournament that they run every couple months.
Yes,
and they pull from the winner of the last couple or few months. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, I think. And also the people who are top 1200 in limited in that time too.
Mm-hmm. And kind of like platinum is kind of the cutoff, I think. Any asshole can get to platinum, really. It takes 0 effort, because at that point if you're in the best of one.
Well, if you hit mythic, it definitely takes 0 effort to hit platinum, because if you're mythic, you reset to platinum. The next level.
Yeah. But for like people climbing, like through bronze, silver, gold, you get if you're in best of 3, you get, what is it, like 4 things per, or 2 things per. It goes up by a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
but you're in the lower ranks, you get like double the rank up.
Yeah, and that shit stops.
Out of like, yeah.
So once you hit platinum, you actually like have to care a little bit, or just play an absurd amount, I suppose.
It's just a little slower.
It's a little
also
slower,
one of my favorite things about how the ranking system works in Arena is once you hit one of those tiers, like gold, platinum, diamond, you're set for the month. You're never gonna. You could lose as much as you want. You could just lose and lose and lose, and you won't go back down to gold if you've hit platinum, which I love because that's a great way to just test decks then, because you're in that competitive environment, but actually it doesn't matter if you win or lose.
Yeah, that's why like you can see a lot of stuff like people are in Mythic and they're like, man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna test out this dog deck.
Well, once you're in Mythic though, you do lose percentage points. Like,
Yeah, but
if you've been winning your way into Mythic, you'll probably be like somewhere in the mid to low 90s or in the 80s or something. But if you just lose, you could be in the 70s.
Yeah.
You're just losing over and over again, and then you have to win that many games to get back up there, which I did.
If all you,
I like fell
about,
down into the low 80s and climbed my way back up, but
that
just takes a while.
What if all you care about is the rank, the Mythic rank? Then whatever.
Yeah. So which is like what I've hit Mythic before, but I've never gotten to top 1200 before.
Yeah.
I got to a number like once before, like 1300 or something.
Do you have? So I mean, one of these questions I already know the answer to, obviously, but talk about the deck you used, and do you have any plans to like modify it at all?
Yeah. So the other cool thing was I did it with a deck that's not meta. Like if you go to MTG Goldfish and look up the standard decks right now, it's not there. Because no one's 5-0'd a league or played a tournament with it. 5-0'd a league on Magic the Gathering Online.
I don't know if you saw any of these, but I have seen like a blue-black variant, a mutate deck.
I haven't seen the blue-black variant. I will. That deck. Like I saw that deck on Twitter. I made a couple. Like, I forget what, but I made some slight change. But mostly I was just like, I look at decks on Twitter all the time looking for interesting things. And I saw that deck and like, this deck looks neat. Mm-hmm. And then it was way more effective than I kind of thought it would be. Because it just lined up really well against the meta. Where the deck is all about like stacking these mutate abilities on top of like one creature. With like only a little bit of protection, but just because of how the meta exists right now with the best decks, so at Mythic you're much more facing the meta. Their removal just doesn't line up against you well.
Yeah, they
just don't have the correct answers because they're prepared to deal with other shit, and so you just kind of run them over, and they're not ready for it. It was just the right deck at the right time. It was just one of those things of like, this deck, if this were the best, if like this deck were popular, if it were on MTGO, it would be very easy to put in the right answers and crush it.
Yeah.
But because it's off meta and no one's prepared for it, it was well positioned to get me there.
I started playing.
Which is fun.
I started using it like a few days later or something. Yeah. And within that time period, a new deck had cropped up that completely hoses it. The most depressing shit.
And again, like basically at the same time I was finding that deck that
Doom deck.
The Doom Foretold deck got like popular. It like got like 2 of the top 4 of some tournament was that deck, and that deck is just your worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Where it just easily answers your single permanent.
Yes. Yeah. But that deck is still the mutate deck is still very fun. I think
people have stopped playing that Doom Foretold deck at this point, honestly.
Oh.
Like I think so. The other thing I think is with the new set coming out, with M21 coming out, and you're not getting any new mutate cards, you're basically not getting help for the deck. It's like theoretically, it's just going to get worse. There's other stuff. But the thing is, M21's kind of weak, and it's not really changing the meta. So it seems like the meta, after people have experimented with stuff, is starting to shift back to just what was good before. with
plus Ugin.
Team Iraq at the top and Jund Food as like the next best deck. So the deck could just be good again.
Yeah.
Just because if the metal settles into that same place.
I also
I'm kind of excited.
I have seen people talk. There's already talk of like, is Ugin too good? Does it need a ban? Like, fucking, it's been like 3 days or whatever. And people have brought
is
up,
a problem.
people brought up that like the last time he was around, it was just such a different environment. The two takes I've seen.
The thing is just that he fits so well into the ramp decks right now.
Yeah, the
like
things
Growth Spiral and Uro are.
It's
so
ridiculous. Because like back when he, it was the Dragons of Takir block,
Yeah, it was a period of Magic where I wasn't playing, so I only know about him from like Modern.
So he was fucking nuts. I remember pulling him in a draft.
Commander.
And I pulled him in a draft. Any game that he came down, I didn't need to do anything. People just conceded. Like there's no point. It's great. Yeah. But he didn't see a shitload of play. He was like the finisher in control decks. But people who weren't there, like, it's not like he was any worse, but like a lot of the stuff that answers him, like, there was a bit of ramp, of course. Like there were ways to get him out quickly, but the answers to that were much stronger. And the general take I've seen for people like comparing these two environments is that the things that made Ugin not a problem when he was initially printed, they're weaker now, and ramp is much stronger. So
yeah,
that's why he's kind of an issue. But back in the day, like, there was so much shit that could take him down. It was whatever.
I'm more used to Ugin in Tron decks.
Yeah.
Turn 3 Ugin.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. You could just play Negate.
That's what.
That's the other strat. That's why I've been playing that mono blue deck, really.
I do think it's interesting how the blue white mutate deck. There's some sneaky shit in there. With his -X in it. I also did this for Blast Zone a few times, where you can like flash in the pouncing shark and fuck him over. It's pretty good.
Do a -5. Yeah.
You like game one. I don't think they'd ever do an extra thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like one of those where you can get them because they don't know how your deck works.
Yeah. And then you have to pray the next game.
Which is always nice. Like the first time I made Mythic was off of just playing a card people didn't expect.
Was it like in general, or was there a particular card?
It was that I forget what it was, but it was that hybrid green-red card that would give your creature +4/+2.
Oh wait! Oh, back.
And I was playing it in my mono red deck.
Collision Colossus.
Yeah, Collision Colossus.
Ain't nobody
and
playing
just
around
nobody
that shit.
was ready for Collision Colossus. Nobody played around it. It was so good.
Absolutely fucking no
just
one.
Get people every time.
I remember playing that deck a little bit. It felt so good. It felt dirty as hell, honestly.
Yeah.
They look at it. They look at it again. They concede. The fuck is this?
Like, yeah.
So are there any
So Ugin is I'm worried about, but the thing is, like, the way the other side of the format is Team Iraq and Jund Food get so good, or such powerful decks normally, that like the way people fight against them normally is going aggro and just try to kill them really quickly. And the aggro decks you completely destroy with the mutate deck. They just have no chance.
Yeah. Dude.
So like that, those are the matchups you really crush. And food you're really good. Team Iraq is still kind of up in the air because that deck's just ridiculous.
I did pretty good against that deck, honestly. my biggest problems were that Doom deck and it for, anything with
Azorius control also a bad time.
yeah, I had some rough goes of it.
Hard control decks are a problem for you because you're one spell a turn and they just counter your shit. And
Yeah.
Or they board wipe or whatever. They have too many answers.
Playing mono red was a treat though. Against mono red, I should say, with that
Yes.
deck. But like
Playing against mono red, playing against mono green.
mono green, I felt
Like-
so like that picture of the kid like crying as he aims the gun. That was me playing against mono green. I felt so bad. I'm like, I don't want to do this. You're my brother.
I loved you.
Man, one of the things I can't get over, and I keep looking at all this shit. We got Ugin, we got Oro, or however the hell his name is pronounced, Ubu. We got
Ubu.
Hydroid, Crassus. We got what was it? Growth
Nissa.
Spiral and all this shit. We got Nissa. We were supposed to have Oko with all this. It's fucking dumb. Like, anytime.
And Veil of Summer.
Yeah, and Veil of Summer and Once Upon a Time. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Once Upon a Time wouldn't find you Ugin, right?
Was it just creature?
And lands.
Creature and lands, probably, yeah. But still. It's so fucking disgusting.
It's pretty wild how pushed. But I mean, if you think like to whatever 2 or 3 years ago, like all the decks were black red mid range. Like that was like whenever they were making these cards, that was probably I think what was dominating Magic. Like these red decks, these like mid-range red decks, like Hazoret was like the best card in the world.
Yeah, that mono red nonsense. What is it? Random
so
app
like
ruins?
all this life gain and ramp.
What the fuck was the card? Players can't gain life. That dinosaur.
Yeah, rampaging Ferociton.
Right.
That
Yeah.
had to get banned.
Yeah.
Remember when that was the kind of thing that got banned?
That was fucking wild. Yeah, instead of the thing that ruined Standard for a little bit, instead of the like what 4 different things that fucked up every single format in Magic.
Yeah, it's funny that like one of the problems with bringing back the old sets on Magic was, do you really want to bring Kaladesh back into Historic? I mean, Standard's been so good. Do you want to break it like that? It's like, well, they broke it, so now there's no problem. Kaladesh, not an issue. Power level's fucking crazy. Don't worry about it.
Dude, it's fucking ridiculous. What was I forget which one was. What are the ones that fucked up Vintage? I know Oko did. I know Mystic Forge.
Oko
made
didn't
some
really
waves.
fuck up Vintage. He was just
Someone
good.
turned a
He was
Lotus
just
into an
playable.
elk, Hank.
Yes, it was quality. But like it wasn't the cards that fucked up Vintage were
I remember there were a few. I forget what they
like
are.
Karn.
Right,
and
Karn was a
Narset.
thing. Right, Narset. I keep
And,
forgetting about that one.
That M20 card, Mystic Forge,
Yeah, I mentioned
also
that.
had to get banned.
I forgot if it was banned.
Like
or
I don't think
restricted.
Oko is even restricted because it doesn't. You're only like even normally you're only playing like 1 or 2.
Okay. So there's the most powerful.
Loris
format.
broke. Loris is like one of the format breakers where he was banned. Because in
Yeah.
Vintage, usually just you restrict cards, so you can play one of them. So like,
Yeah, but there's
if a
no
card
point.
is like good, but you're only playing one anyway, like Oko, it's not. It's like you don't. That's just the format can handle it. But Loris, because of how Companion works, it's broken. Like you just play it in every deck.
Is that did they revisit any of that like since the companion changes?
I think he's still just banned.
I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, no, that's a hell of a thing. How that's a good segue. How are you feeling about the companion changes? Like either for deck building or for going against them.
I mean, mostly they just don't get played except for Yorion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly. Mostly they just, like, killed them.
I still see Lurus
You know, like,
out and about.
competitive, they're just not good. It's too slow. It's not worth the restriction. For most decks, because for the decks that aren't going long. Except, like, the Yorion decks, because those are decks about ramp and playing the long game. So they're fine with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like the appropriate change for Yorion to be playable but not oppressive, but kind of just makes everything else unplayable. Except I think Loris is playable, but it's kind of just like better to play Loris in your main deck now if you're a Loris deck.
I've seen a fair chunk of Lurus decks. I can't actually remember the last time someone played him and he actually stuck, if he even got fully played.
Well, I've been playing Loris in my blue-white deck that I've just been doing. The fun thing I do is I start it with 2 Loris in my main deck, and then when I go to sideboard, I sideboard into Loris being my companion.
Nice.
I pull out my couple cards that are 3 CMC. That's just fun. I don't even know if that's good, but it sure is fun.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, what the hell was it? I saw who's the companion that you play in your Niv Mizzet Brawl deck?
Gigantha?
Yeah, the 5-colored tap bud or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw some dude playing that as his companion, but it was like a Gruul deck. Like there was
Gruul deck. I like seeing it in like black-red decks.
Great.
It's like I'm close enough to just being able to play this based on what my deck is. The card that's really died from the change is Obosh, because those are aggro decks, so like paying the 3 and playing him is like way too slow.
It's spicy.
Just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think what is it, Umori?
Yeah, Omori
he's still okay. Depending on your deck, of course, but like for a lot of people, if you're close enough, just it's free real estate if you're already right there. So I've been trying to it feels kind of good, but it also feels like it's going to be truly good. It would turn into something that it's not, and that is the colorless blue deck I've been working on.
Yeah,
it feels pretty decent. It probably needs a bit more like counter spells for protection, but it's pretty good. Unfortunately, I think it just wants to be a colorless ramp deck, which I did end up seeing a list for. It was just like mono green ramp shit, and then solemn simulacrum.
Elacrum.
That thing. Solemn.
Sad robot.
I was gonna make it. Solemn Similarian?
Similarium?
Yeah. Yeah, sad robot. It's basically mono green and then him, and then you're just like getting to Ugin and like some colorless good shit. So
yeah,
I've been tempted.
But then why don't you just play Nissa and just be a ramp deck? Ghost Spiral's pretty good.
It might have played Nissa.
I don't know. I went down that hole and I was just like circling back to like I Just play ramp. What am I doing?
I mean, it does play a lot of ramp.
Yeah.
Let me see. I can bring it up here quick. Okay, yeah, it has the payoffs are both Ugins, Vivian, Monsters Advocate, and, 4 Nissas, and a Karn Great Creator. And then it's literally just everything else is fucking ramp. Arboreal,
Yeah.
Grazer, Goose, Leafkin Druid, Sad Robot. Oh, it does play a Golos. And then Cultivate. So.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of down, but like, it's a pricey deck.
I'm
kind of close to being able to do it, though.
I don't see what that gets you over just playing the regular Simic decks. Really.
You don't have to play Simic, and you can feel good about yourself for it. That's what it gets you.
You kind of are. I don't know.
You're not. You kind of. There's no blue. There's no blue. Show me the blue. You can't.
Yeah, but
it's mono
you could
green.
Just play Growth Spiral.
I do. I fucking love that card. That's like my exception.
That card is very good. Like, what if instead of 3 mana ramp, you just was 2 mana? Huh?
I mean,
my favorite thing about playing mono blue is countering Growth Spiral every game.
I've definitely fucking been there.
That's the point of the deck, is to be able to counter Growth Spiral every time.
It felt a little bad, but I did have a deck with the mono, or I had a game with the mono blue deck, and it was literally like counter Growth Spiral, counter Uwu, return an Uwu on the stack, then draw into the 4th land to hard counter him with Rewind.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now you're playing that deck.
Yeah, like there's been a few times there was a mutate deck, and I was like, I always think of I forget what the conclusion of the article was, but I remember the whole thing it was based on was, do you counter their ramp or their draw, or do you counter, or like a tutor, for example, or do you counter the thing that they get, right? Do you counter the ramp or the payoff?
Man.
And I try to think about that a little bit more. When I noticed it was an Uwu deck, I started countering all the ramp, and it felt good.
Yeah, you just counter everything. Like, the point of having a card like the C-Dasher Octopus type thing is you can get the card draw consistently to just prison them out of the game. Yeah, is what you're trying to do, really. That's how the blue deck worked before. So you're just trying to recapture that with the cards you have available.
Now make the historic version of it.
I mean, I have the historic version built. I would built this new deck off of that deck that I have built already.
Is there any like new fancy things in the historic version? I mean, Octopus? Does it play Octopus? 1 or 2?
Yeah, I play Octopus. I play like 3 Octopus, I think.
Okay.
Along with Curious Obsession. I mean, because that's how you just mostly play the old stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really like that new counterspell where if you have a flyer, it's a much better quench.
It's very fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm tempted.
That one I like.
So my mono blue feels very good. I might try to keep doing that one in the best of 1 standard thing, because then like I encountered 1 Ceratops and it was way too fucking late.
Yeah.
I don't want to give him that chance to deal with me.
I was running a fucking Stone Coil Serpent in my sideboard just to have something to deal with Ceratops at one point when I was playing that mono blue deck.
Hell yeah.
In historic.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah, Ceratops is just such a problem.
Yeah, and then I have the kind of colorless mono blue sort of artifact-y thing, which I may revisit at some point. It feels okay, but it has problems.
I I know. I've played all the variations of an artifact deck because I want them to work so bad. And it's just like this isn't gonna be good until they give me Kaladesh, and then in historic, and then I think I can make something good, playable.
Yeah.
I need Inspiring Statuary. That's what I need.
The deck
the
that
card.
I think I might make, that I think people were saying it might be better, or at least maybe it was like bumped up from like trash to semi-viable, is blue-white flyers. Only because I have like pretty much everything for it. That new counter spell feels very good. All that stuff.
There's a Jeskai version too.
Oh
with
yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
The
And
deck.
you can play Loris.
Okay. I mean, gross. It's not a flyer. That's off theme, but fine. You're disgusting, I suppose. The deck that I want to build, and I'm scared. I'm still scared because so many wild cards just flushed. I want that. I want that enchantment shrine deck, dude. I want it.
Oh yeah.
It's
bad.
It's calling
no
to
way
me.
it's good.
It's calling to me.
Particularly with Ugin
With
existing.
Ugin in the game, it's a problem. I don't know why they decided to do both of those things, but it's
Because you need an answer for the enchantments, Ben. You
God.
can't let
Yeah,
shrines
they're
run
too-
wild.
They're too strong. It's calling to me though. It's calling to me. And literally, my first, like one of the first packs I opened, I got the 5-color shrine, and I'm like, is this some sort of divine sign?
It's just bad. Like those cards, if they weren't legendary, maybe. But the fact that they're all legendary, like honestly, your best bet is probably the Brawl version, historic Brawl version, where you just have one of each.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it would be.
And you run like
interesting.
new Sisei as your commander or something.
Or just Golos,
Yeah, or just Golos.
a classic.
Well, no, Golos is banned, isn't he? He's
Is
banned
he?
in Brawl.
He is. Okay,
Yeah.
that checks out. That makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
a good decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is he banned when we're playing historic Brawl and it's just us?
Yes.
Yes, still?
Yeah, they banned him. Yeah, they banned him.
That's dumb. Where are my tabletop rules? Where are my kitchen table rules? Trash. Game's dead.
I mean, maybe
Magic's dead.
You could probably play him. You probably could play him, but I took him out of my Niv deck, so he's effectively banned. I'm not keeping an extra version of my historic Brawl decks that have banned cards in them. It's not happening.
Oh, that's right. I need to put in that that stupid, what is it, Elvish Visionary and Llanowar Elves baby. I need to put that in my elf deck.
Yeah.
Is it just Llanowar Visionary?
Maybe?
I think it is.
'Cause I don't care about that card.
I mean, I do for just that reason.
Yeah, no, it's playable in elves for sure.
I still want to get an elf deck, like a historic elf deck off the ground, like a regular one.
Oh, like in regular historic?
Yeah. I've seen some variants, but I don't.
Jumpstart's gonna add stuff, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because that's when you're getting like the elf lord that also taps for mana equal to the number of elves you have.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I would look at an elf deck. Once you get some
Yeah.
and Elvish Visionary, I think, is in there. But is that in already?
We have
Is that
Elvish
right?
Visionary. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a part of the bundle, I believe, the historic bundle.
Yeah. I'm kind of waiting for Jumpstart to come out. On
that's
Arena
a-
before
that's
I
a-
care
that's
about
a-
historic again.
Perfect segue. What are Jumpstart? Yeah.
Look, if they had given me Entomb on Arena, I'd be more excited.
Yeah, dude, the fucking nerfs. We're gonna bring all of these cards to Arena, except the super fun ones. They're too strong. They're too strong. I know we gave you Veil of Summer, Field of the Dead, Oko, Once Upon a Time. These are too strong. Fuckers.
Well, some of them are. It's not that they're too strong. Some of them are just like, these are formatted weird, and we just don't want to.
Yeah.
Like some of the weird fight cards.
Wasn't there? I know there was one that had a rules issue, and they said it didn't work with how the game handles rules or something. I forget which one it was, but I know it was one people are like, this doesn't seem like it's too powerful, though. And they just said, no, literally, it's because of the words.
Yeah. We don't know what they're being replaced with yet, either.
I think we did.
We just have the list. We have the full list of what's not getting on, but I don't think we have the list of what they're being replaced with. So there could be cool stuff in that list.
Yes. Yeah, they did here.
Oh, they did?
At least
Where?
for 14 cards. I'll hit you with a link. If you scroll down, there is a table after the list.
Oh, you're right. I did see this. These are all boring. The ones they're giving us instead all suck. That is why I blocked it out of my mind.
Amazing. I can't believe no path
the
to
importance
exile, though.
Like, they're giving us like a lot. Well, they're boring because mostly they're cards that are already in Arena. They're not actually new cards.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2 of them are Lightning Strike.
Hey, now. Easy.
Look, 1 of them could be Lightning Strike, but 2 of them are Lightning Strike.
Yeah.
We're replacing both Chain Lightning and Lightning Bolt with the card that's already in this game. Thanks.
Yeah, I really wish we'd gotten some of these. Or just all of them.
Just all of them. And then if something needs to be banned, ban it. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe... I mean, why did they put in... I don't know.
I think, yeah.
I put them in Jumpstart then.
I kind of agree that the problem for me is that they're giving us shit that we already have. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Like when it said, "Oh, we're replacing them," I thought that meant we're replacing them with other cool cards that make more sense for Arena or whatever. Because there's another way to, instead of just these are cards that are already in Arena that we're putting in the set.
Yeah.
It's like and like yeah. I don't know. Like, why isn't Flame Tongue Kavu not going in there? How is Flame Tongue Kavu like?
Is that might be one? Well, let me see.
Is that like just formatting because it can target any creature? So if you play it on an empty board, it kills itself. Is that why they didn't put it in? That could be why.
I just want to look at it. Deals 4 damage to target creature. Probably.
It's like, it's the old Magic version of Ravenous Chupacabra.
Yeah.
It's like, it's both, it's worse, and it's the templating where new players fuck themselves because they play it on an empty board. They don't realize it just kills itself.
Yeah.
I'm just annoyed they like put Path to Exile in the set and then they're like, nah, though.
Well, I remember because literally Ace was saying like, man, I really wish we had Path to Exile. I'm like, look what they gave us. And then like 4 hours later, they're like,
like,
I know we revealed it, but like you don't actually get to use it. You can look at it. You know what? I'll forgive them if they give us the Rebecca Guay Path to Exile art as a sleeve. That is fine. That is okay.
Maybe one day.
Bring Guay back. We've already lost fucking Noah Bradley and Therese Nielsen. Nielsen.
It's true.
Which is crazy.
I mean, they're bad people.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, as long as nothing comes out about Rebecca Guay, Johannes Voss, either of the what are they? What's their last name? Fogley. The Shahrazad art, a lot of cartoon shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Fogley. And what the hell's his name? Donato Giuseppe or some shit like that. Then we're fine. We're good. It's all okay.
I mean, as long as nothing comes out about Seb McKinnon.
Yeah, it's Seb McKinnon, right. Yeah, him too. What's going
to be crushing?
What's going to happen is it's not going to be like anything related to like fans or sexual assault or anything like that. They're just going to find out that he's like a serial killer who has like schizophrenia or something, and it's going to check out. That guy.
Oh, that's why you draw this art. I see.
Bedevil makes sense now. Like just all this dark shit.
Oh, his art is so good.
Instantaneous.
But mostly it's because he's allowed to be himself. He doesn't have to stick to their house style or whatever.
Yeah.
Like some of that is
like,
just like who they allow to do their own thing.
People were fucking hyped up on Noah Bradley, and it's good, it's solid, his lighting is good, but he never got to that point of like Rebecca Guay or Seb where they're just, you instantaneously know it's this person. Even Johannes Voss, like, he does very, very good work, but it fits in line. It fits their theme. I want that weird magic back, but not the racist weird, just the animate wall weird.
I wonder if we're gonna get another round of I feel like
I don't know
of like them removing art, but I feel like for the other stuff there's like art they might remove rather than maybe say like this version of Flash is no longer okay.
I don't know how they
Flash
did address
is a card.
Flash. How did they not address Flash? Holy shit! I was so
because
surprised.
I feel like the thing they were addressing was
cards that only had
it was
one
as
art?
much like the card's flavor, like actually the card.
That's true.
Rather than just the art. Like, if you just looked at the name and what the card did, was kind of more what that wave was.
I think there's...
Rather than just, like, cards that have problematic art. But if you change the art, the card would not longer be problematic.
I want to see if
I feel like that has to come at some point where they're like...
Is there...
But I don't even know what you...
Here,
I want to... like, an official term is you can't play this version of the card. I don't know.
I want to...
They're not going to reprint any of that stuff anyway.
Do you have a... I don't suppose you have, like, a link to the, to, like, the news article with those banned things, do you? What's even a good thing to search? And what was the big one? What was the one with the super racist artwork?
I don't remember what the Ku Klux Klan card is. Here, Invoke Prejudice is the card.
Invoke Prejudice.
I have the link.
Okay, hit me with it, please. Thank you.
Depictions of racism and magic on.
So,
I
think,
like, you just look at the names and like the names are what you get like a name search for what they got rid of. Basically.
Yeah.
Whereas there's also stuff that's just like this art is a
I
problem.
think Invoke Prejudice. That's a rough one because like the history is so bad, but I think that could be adjusted, right?
The history is bad. Like that artist is just a terrible person, and like all his art should probably be banned.
Obviously, like you.
Also, like just like the wording of like what the card does. It's based on. It's just bad.
It's not. I mean, if opponent casts
like that, that's the one where it's like. You just look at that and you're like, oh, this shouldn't be.
Yeah.
The fuck?
The wording is pretty bad. I don't think that can be redeemed. Invoke Prejudice, you'd have to like make just a new card that's not named that.
I mean,
I was gonna.
no one's playing that card.
No one.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
no.
Just
Well,
get rid of that.
racists are playing that card.
That's true. You're right. Like explicitly racist people.
There is one
or
reason
people
to
trying
play
to be
that
very
card.
like edgy.
I want to look at how do you feel about cleanse? Same space, like kind of irredeemable.
Yeah, cleanse is just one of those. It's like it's more built into like the fundamentals of
it's a problem of
that
magic.
kind of fantasy, but it's bad. Like those fundamentals are rough, like that are just fucked. It's like one of those things of like inherently the white being purity thing is just bad.
Yeah, no, that's
at like a base level if you just let it do its thing. So like some of this is just magic is built on fantasy tropes, which are racist.
I'm gonna say,
just like in D&D, it's like it's just kind of inherent to some of the stuff. So
the other
you can poke at it where you want to, but at some point it's like some of that classic stuff is just it's hard to get away from because it's so ingrained and stuff.
So, I mean, it goes without saying, I think, but stone throwing devils, Pradesh gypsies, and jihad, those are irredeemable. You can't. I don't think there's a way to save those, just at all.
Yeah.
Imprison.
I mean, I know there was some pushback just because like this is what the like Arab representation in magic is. You're kind of getting rid of it. Like it's fucked up, but also that's what was there for it. So
I understand, but at the same time, like, I
mean nobody plays again.
Yeah,
who's playing these cards?
Invoke Prejudice is the worst.
Invoke Prejudice is the one where I'm like, this just fucking had to go, and like all the art that this dude did probably needs to go.
Yeah.
The only one of these cards I feel like I've ever seen played, is Crusade. Was like that was a card that was actually played in Magic.
So
and, I get why you want to remove that. But
I think the biggest candidate here for being able to, in theory, like be reprinted would be Imprison, right? Like that one the name isn't inherently bad. I think the effect is not inherently bad. It's just the artwork. It's like that dude in a mask or whatever. It's like the weird mask.
Oh right.
I thought Crusade might also be able to be redeemed, but
that's bad art.
I forgot Crusade was white creatures get +1/+1.
Yes, dude. That's why.
That's no good.
It's the whole flavor of it.
I forgot it was white creatures. Honest, I thought it was like
because that's just how magic is built.
Yeah. Why do they
so
have to call
when
it Crusade,
you build,
fuck,
it's just bad.
Yeah. There's
but
even,
like that's like low level fantasy problems.
And I didn't like they even the reprint art, like it's much better, but still fuck, that's rough.
Again, like it's what the word tied into the mechanics of it.
Yeah. No, I think it's of course like taking care of these issues.
It's too specific, like an actual thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Magic is much more sided towards, not doing mythology that's so directly one-to-one to the real world or actual mythology. They don't do that one-to-one the way they did back in early Magic.
Yes.
Like Arabian Nights is literally Arabian Nights.
Yeah, it's just that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like the Magic version of these stories, so we can like soften the racism or that's coming out of or whatever.
I think
Of like
there's
the Western interpretation of this stuff.
there's definitely like again, it's a good thing that they did this, but it to me it kind of falls in that realm of like, I mean, without it's not our rant episode, but you know, like that's great that they put Black Lives Matter on the street, but like, what about the police reform though? Like,
Yeah.
it's great that you're banning
No,
this artwork, but it's going hand in hand with people like coming out and being like, yeah, remember that time Wizards like doesn't hire artists who are people of color, like ever?
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
so much other stuff that they have issues with that it does feel a little bad that they're like, we banned these racist cards. Like,
No, like it feels like they have a check, like a easy pull in case of emergency.
yeah.
People getting mad about racism, lined up.
I cannot fucking believe that Invoke Prejudice.
Because like, how is it like just now that you're dealing with fucking Invoke Prejudice? Like,
how did they not
that card in particular? How is that like not been dealt with a long time ago?
Even worse. So
Again, it's because it's barely getting played. Probably like
I'm sure you saw
I wouldn't
this.
know about it if it weren't for the internet or whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure you know this, and maybe some other people who keep up with Magic stuff saw. For those who don't, Gatherer, the main site for like the official site for checking cards and rules and errata and
Yeah, the one that
rulings
Wizards
and all that
runs,
shit.
rather, like
They,
Scryfall, which
Yeah, they all the cards there have obviously to get to the card instead of going by name, you go by ID. The fucking ID number for Invoke Prejudice was 1488. Like, it's been how many fucking years that sat there? They couldn't just like change the fucking number at all. Like, it's unreal. I can't believe that was it. It feels like they kept it there so that when someone's like, wait a minute, you guys are a racist company, they could just be like, boom, no, we're not. Look, we did this change that we could have done like 10 years ago but didn't. Look at us, progressive.
or maybe not build it when you built your website, like change it when you were building a website around it.
Yeah.
Like, someone had to do that work and like for that card. Ugh.
And that was this sort of goes back. There was a bit of talk about it. I you know what? I want to look up the date. Are you familiar with the card Alicia who smiles at death?
Yes.
I think, yeah, that's Fate Reforged, so that's maybe a bit before you were back into it.
Yeah, but I know it because it's a commander people actually play.
Yeah. Do you know anything about like the story of the card itself and like the?
No.
Okay. So Alicia, who smiles at death, was a pretty like big deal because in the story, it's I think one of the first, if not the first, transgender person portrayed in Magic. So I forget what her name was originally, but then in the story, like, she comes out as Alicia, and it's generally accepted. And I think I believe the story was received quite well. People said it was good representation, and it wasn't garbage. Obviously, there was a bunch of fucking piece of shit.
Again, like with that kind of thing, it's like good at the time does not mean it will stand up to the test of time.
That's true. But
like whenever you're doing representational stuff that hasn't been done before, it's probably gonna look worse the longer
I think
it goes on.
Yeah, maybe. I think they didn't get like super detailed.
Yeah, I mean,
though,
that's
so.
without knowing anything. I'm saying.
Yeah. I think as far as I'm aware, I think that one will hold up fine because they didn't try to go like too deep into stuff. They did enough to be like, this is here, and everyone was pretty happy except the pieces of shit neckbeards who couldn't stand a transgender person in their card game. But I know one of the things that kind of got tossed around and unfortunately was kind of a bit ignored, I think. People were like, that's great that you put transgender people on a card. What about transgender employees or artists?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got any? So it's definitely a thing that has come up before, for specifically for Wizards and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. I mean, it comes up for fucking every company. Every company's bad at.
Well, yeah. This is a Magic episode.
All this stuff. Yeah, that's fair. It's fair. No, Wizards is not immune to most of the problems of big companies. But,
well,
I don't know. Invoke Prejudice is particularly fucking egregious.
That one, I just, yeah. It's gross.
It's not good. And particularly when, like, they've been pretty forward about, like, thinking about representation and for characters for, like, new sets that they're putting out. Like, making, like, they think about their planeswalkers and making sure people are represented.
Yeah. But, yeah. Unless they're too good of a couple and they happen to both be girls, and then they have to retcon them into only being
except
into
for
buff
when
dudes.
they let someone write a book.
I'm still upset. I'm still fucking upset about it.
Hire a terrible fantasy writer
that
to
was
write
literally
their story. They did fuck that up.
I think it was like a week ago, maybe even less. I was literally ranting about that at Anya.
Yeah, I forgot about that bad book.
She's just standing there like fucking nodding as I'm like going off about how I invested my time and emotions into this relationship, and then they fucked it all up beyond repair. Well, not beyond repair, I should say, but like, god damn it. I'm so upset.
This is why you don't let people who write fantasy books write anything.
It was really, they were doing so fucking well. I was incredibly invested. Like the Amonkhet and then the Ixalan block arcs and the lore was so fucking spot on. It was making me actually give a shit about Mary Sue Jace. It was fantastic. There was gonna be Gorgon sex. It was amazing. And then they took it all away from me. I went from caring so much to not giving a shit ever again.
No, I've only ever invested in the Magic story from the sense that I can glean the story from cards.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where Magic storytelling is at the coolest, and
you didn't read that. You didn't read.
You can pick stuff up just from looking at the cards.
You cannot just pick up the emotions between Jace and Vraska from the cards, sir.
No, you can't, and that's why I don't know about that. I don't care.
You know what?
Because if it mattered, they'd have to put it on the cards. That's my point. It doesn't matter if they didn't put it on the cards.
I also don't know about what happened to them because they put it in a fucking pre-order book and then never put it anywhere else. So I have no idea what happens. Actually, I literally that entire arc, everything with War of the Spark and all that bullshit, zero idea for how it truly resolved. Again, except for the bits from the cards. Like I know nothing. So many little lines that were laid out. No fucking clue because they for some reason switched. Not even that it was bad, but
the last Magic book I tried to read was for Invasion.
Did it have slivers?
And I couldn't get through the first chapter. It was like I was as invested in the Magic story then as I will ever be. Because it was like a culmination of the Magic story that had existed the whole time I'd been playing the game, and that I could not have given less of a fuck once I started reading that book. It was terrible.
Yeah, that checks out.
Just like
it's sad.
This is not good. This is This is nothing of what I liked from what I got out of looking at cards. But also, like, the story back then was a fucking mess. Like, they just changed. Again, they did the thing of, like, someone is building a story here, but then they just change the creative team who's in charge of that, and those people care about something completely different.
Dude,
they don't care about any of these characters.
I don't fucking get it at all. Like, everybody...
it's just big corporations doing shit because they don't care. They don't have the right... They don't have, like, a creative who's, like, actually in charge of the story.
I guess. It was so... Ixalan and Amonkhet to an extent, and then Ixalan especially, just incredibly well received. Very, very well received. And, like, I think unanimously people were, like, on board with it, pretty as unanimous as the garbage magic community can ever be. And then they're just like, nah.
Well, then they decide they care about it, so they have to bring in someone with some, like, name recognition or whatever.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know anything about what they've been doing. And then just writes his own thing. And, it turns out that the fans don't like that. Because that's horseshit. I don't know.
Nissa, you were a phase. I've only ever been.
It's like it happens in comic
dudes.
books too, where like they bring in a novelist or something to write some comics who's popular or whatever, and you're like, this is garbage. What are you doing?
I actually was just reading about that in.
Or they let Kevin Smith write a comic and he has Batman get peed on.
God bless. There was I forget what run it was, but if you recall, Luke Skywalker's wife from Legends, Mara Jade. Very well liked character. And some other very well liked, also female characters. Like 3 of them got killed off to advance a dude that nobody liked after they brought in some rando. And people just like unfucking real. Like I forget what that trope is called, like the woman in the refrigerator or whatever. It's something or.
It's getting, women in refrigerators. Specifically, it's in reference to a Green Lantern story.
Yeah.
In which Green Lantern's girlfriend was chopped up and put into a refrigerator by the villain. Right. It is an actual thing that happened in the comic book.
They mentioned that.
And this was like within the first arc of the hip, cool new Green Lantern to appeal to the kids.
Oh no.
They rebooted Green Lantern. They got rid of the old Green Lantern. They have a new Green Lantern, and he's got this girlfriend. And then, like 4 issues in or whatever, she's in a refrigerator.
Oh, that's so rough.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It is an egregious example of the killing off a female character to advance the plot of a man. But the reason it's a trope is because it's like so prevalent. It just happens so often. That's just like the most egregious example.
Yeah. No, it was.
It's specifically because a comic book writer started a blog based around it where she was cataloging all the examples.
Oh. Yeah. That Star Wars one is real bad.
That's how that trope got like codified. It's because she started a blog about it.
I mean, I don't. You can tell me how it went for Green Lantern, but in Star Wars it didn't even fucking work. The person did it to try to make people care about this dude, and nobody did. It fell so flat. So then you just had 3 dead characters in the canon.
People did like Kyle Rayner. Like that character had fans, but no, I don't think anybody likes that story.
Wow, I would hope not.
The bigger thing is like, characters in comic books die all the time, but like girlfriends or whatever, or supporting characters who get murdered generally don't come back. They stay dead.
Yeah, I mean, just fucking, it's a comic. Just go to Earth 604.
I mean, it's because it's like also because like Gwen Stacy's death. That's a famous thing.
Yeah,
but people praised it, so now everyone's trying to do that.
I mean,
over and over again.
I'll just
that's how that kind of thing happens. Is like you're imitating a thing that worked once, but like if you're doing it all the time, it loses the impact, and B, like,
anytime
is it good though?
If a character in a comic dies, doesn't matter. Just fucking sweep of the hand. Just go to Earth 604. She's alive there. It's fine. It's basically
but they're a supporting character. If they're a main character, sure.
no.
I don't remember Gwenpool.
The main character can just hop over Rick and Morty style to slot into a new universe. Easy peasy. Girlfriend dead, chopped up, put in a refrigerator. Hop on over to the next one. Multiverse, baby.
Yeah, but it depends on reader interest. And readers are generally more interested
by the way, there's a multiverse. Check Green Lantern Spider-Man crossover annual number 3 from 2011, back of July's Playboy magazine for this information.
I'm pretty sure like the standard single comic Green Lantern Marvel crossover was Green Lantern Silver Surfer.
I'm gonna throw up.
And then there was whatever he was doing with Marvel versus DC and Amalgam or whatever.
No. You clearly missed the number 3 Green Lantern Spider-Man annual in the back of Playboy from July 2011. So you're not really a fan, I guess. That would actually be amazing. I read it for the annuals, actually.
They created Iron Lantern. Crossover between Green Lantern and Iron Man.
What's the pig version of Green Lantern called?
I don't think that. Oh, I mean,
it's just called Green Lantern.
Just a pig. They're all called Green Lantern.
Yeah, they're all called.
The Green Lanterns are just cops. So they're space cops. So
yeah, you know how I know that?
Be a pig who is a
Literally,
Green Lantern. You don't even have to go to another universe. It's not a stretch. There's a cat who's a Red Lantern.
I have learned more about Green Lantern from watching what is it, DC Heroes Supergirls on Netflix. I've learned so much about Green Lantern. Because they address it. It was very useful. They're all like, Green Lantern? Green Lantern? They're like, what? You're both named
it's basically
Green Lantern?
Naruto.
I don't even want to fuck. Are you telling me there's more than one Naruto?
No.
Are you lying right now?
But you know how they're like...
Now that you've opened this, I need to know.
They're like
I don't want to.
The tailed beasts. They're the 9-tailed beasts that go from the 1 tails to the 9 tails. That's in Naruto.
And
there's
Pokemon,
like an equivalent of that for the Green Lanterns, where each color has like a big monster that's the embodiment of their color.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying the plot of Green Lantern for a while was the plot of Naruto. They both had a story where everybody came back from the dead.
26 years I've gone without learning literally any information about Naruto past names. And you fucking ruined it for me. 26 years, just down the drain. There's no point anymore.
Look,
literally,
here's my other hot take.
Nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. There's Naruto, there's Sasuke, there's Boruto. They have fucked up eyes sometimes. That's the end of the list.
I mean, you can just forget Naruto. You just say Boruto's dad.
Yeah.
I could say that time.
Oh, Boruto's dad?
But here's my other hot take, is The Last of Us 2's ending is a bad version of the ending of Naruto.
How do you know what the ending of Naruto is?
Because I played the video game that was the end of Naruto.
Okay, just check.
Because it was like an Azura's Wrath game.
Just making sure.
They used the move Planetary Devastation or whatever like 9 times.
Yeah, it checks out.
I like Naruto. It just got too long, and the anime is poorly paced. I mostly read the manga. And then I played the video game to end the story. Because eventually the manga got too slow and poorly paced for me.
I mean, yeah, kind of been there. I think Shaman King had a better ending in it somewhere, but not the one they gave it. Whole thing. Whole thing up until the end was like kind of the same quality, and then just cop out right in the last bit.
Yeah, it happens.
It literally just ended with someone in tears crying to their mom.
I don't forgive. I mean, it could be worse. Could be the end of the fucking Berserk anime.
Yeah, but it's not the end of the series, though. The problem...
It was just bad. It was, as a part of the series, it's still bad.
It's still bad. I mean, like...
It's bad. It's bad.
You know what? I'm debating if that... Does that count as, like, woman in the fridge territory? I don't actually know if it does.
Yeah.
Because it's not, like...
Yeah.
It's not something that's getting... I don't think, like, he's not getting furthered by it. Like, that's not the exact thing that, like, makes him seek revenge or anything. Like, he was also, like, almost getting fucked up. I mean, obviously, like, she got the worst of it, but also, like, the rest of those people also died. Like, the entire group. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's like, it's treating a female character like an object. Like
that, yeah. No,
the story isn't about her, but she's getting brutally murdered.
Yeah. She doesn't die. Spoilers.
Yeah, or whatever.
Yes.
You know.
Just, I mean, like, I forget if... I think in the anime you wouldn't actually know that, maybe. I forget.
Yeah, I don't
but
remember.
She doesn't.
I blocked parts of it out.
That checks out.
Honestly. It was bad.
Yeah. It only took, like... When did that fucking arc happen? It's been like 30 years real time. Like, I think that started in like the late 80s or something. And only just like 2 years ago or some shit like that, finally, she like
it's on a better pace than George R. R. Martin for finishing his books.
So I came into that so late, like, that I could just kind of read through everything. Apparently there was a big kerfuffle in the community because they spent like 5 years on a boat. And I just can't imagine. Just 5 years. Like, when are they going to get off this boat?
Yeah. I mean, it's been like 20 years since he wrote a book.
Yeah, but he thinks it'll be done next year.
I feel like at this point that outweighs any like slow pace within the story.
He'll be done next year, though. George R. R. Martin. Is it even the last book in the series? Isn't there like one more after it or something, or two more?
I don't think it's over.
Jesus. Imagine. All you have to go on is that garbage last season.
It's about stories. Who has a better story than Brad the Broken? What a bad TV show.
Yeah. Sometimes, now and again, someone will still ask like what I thought of Game of Thrones, assuming that I've watched it.
I mean, it's a fair assumption. It was very popular.
What do you think of Game of Thrones? Like, I don't.
I only started caring when it got bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, the most I gave a shit about it was when I finally had validation for not watching the popular thing.
I only watched like the last 2 seasons. Before that, I watched like the first 3 episodes and like the wed wedding and a little bit of the build up.
That's saw the first episode. I saw like the red wedding scene because my parents were watching it. And that's like it.
Yeah. My friends maybe watched the first 3, and then I caught some stuff when my parents were watching it. And honestly, I knew more about the show than they did. Even that. They had watched every episode.
You know what, there is I did also watch the scene, or like multiple scenes or whatever, of like the origin of how Hordor became the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good bit. I thought that was like I thought that was cool. And like emotionally impactful.
The books haven't gotten to that scene yet.
That checks out.
My understanding.
Who reads books? It's 2020. Just watch the Netflix adaptation.
Yeah, man. No one should read Artemis Fowl. They should only watch the movie.
Is there a Dangerous Days of Daniel X film?
I don't think so. There's a DS game. It's a Metroidvania.
Could me and you make a Dangerous Days of Daniel X film? Naturally, I would be Daniel X.
I mean, I would want to adapt the story where he falls in love with the bug kid who's made of bugs.
Gross. That's I
That's
would not be able to do that.
That's the story of the graphic novel.
Disgusting. Not
it is
cereal
gross,
friendly.
but at the end of that story, he's like, "Man, he was like my only real friend."
Ugh.
It's the one real person Daniel X was friends with. He wasn't a figment of his imagination. Man, that's serious.
Just fucking terrible. I want to read it again, kinda. I don't hate
the manga.
I'll read it.
The manga's better.
I'll read. No. I gotta read the book so I can get proper angry before our rant episode. Just really fucking
the book
hate
is
everything.
definitely. Look, I've read the manga adaptation, I've read the American comic, and I've read the book. The book is the worst version.
Yeah. Well, you said it's because it's first person, right? The other stuff
Yeah.
isn't as terrible because of it.
Yeah, no. Because being in his head is the worst. Just instantly you look at the first page, you're like, oh no, this is a mistake.
Imagine being Daniel X. Oh.
Yeah.
You've done a bit of Animorphs, right?
Yeah. I was so into Animorphs at the time.
Oh fuck!
It was just one of those things where like one day I walked into a bookstore and there were like 10 books I hadn't read. I'm like, I can't.
my library, for some reason, at the tiny school that I went to, had like the first 30 or something. So I actually got a chunk in.
I mean, I was getting them as they were coming out at the beginning. Like, I was hitting
old.
each one.
You're old.
Yeah. And then I was at a bookstore and there were like 10. And
imagine a Yerk going into Daniel X's head. Just fucking right back out.
It just dies.
Just fucking out immediately. Can't take it.
It just keeps saying elephant over and over again.
He's just rocking back and forth in the corner of his skull. Talking about how smart he is. No, my
in the DS game he can turn into a soccer ball, instead of a morph ball.
You can't see the expression I'm making right now, but it's an expression. It's certainly an expression.
That game's okay. That game's okay.
Yeah. That's probably an episode.
What are we talking about? Where am I?
We're talking about why Water for Elephants is the greatest book of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
That doesn't check out.
It has elephants.
I did learn recently that one of my favorite comics writers is doing a graphic novel adaptation of one of my favorite books.
Which book?
Ryan North, who wrote the Adventure Time comic book and Dinosaur Comics and other things, is doing the comic book adaptation of Slaughterhouse-5.
Oh, damn. That's a saucy one to get an adaptation.
Hell yeah.
I still haven't read all of it. It is I know that's on our list, though, I believe.
Yeah. Also, we could watch the movie.
Probably just do both.
Which I enjoy. But it's not as good as the book.
Well, yeah. As you do.
But it is one of those of like where you hear like people are like, yeah, but it's not the book. But it's like, I still like the movie. I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
How do you end a podcast?
To thunderous applause.
You can email us, saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. Salt Circle Podcast, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Our episodes are hosted at anchor.fm/Salt Circle. And I'm on Twitter at Comic Panels.
I'm on Twitter at a new old handle, at Dr_Atheist. Doctor is the abbreviated version. Dr_Atheist. Yeah.
I remember you didn't sit on your old name.
I can't believe my old name got taken and then banned by someone. What the fuck was he doing? No respect. Absolutely zero respect.
So you letting bots take your name.
I can't.
And using that SEO irresponsibly.
I didn't do. It's never been taken. The Drathius has withstood the test of time for like 15 years. I think there was one dude who made a WoW account, like maybe a year later. But in my defense, I also would have been like 12. So it's not like I had widespread notoriety yet.
I mean, it was probably a bot who took it because someone else had it or something. It probably was like an SEO thing.
If you look up, there is also I don't know, two fucking punks trying to do like a let's play or a podcast or some bullshit, and one of them goes by Drathius. So not fucking me. I'll tell you that much. I think they talk about Minecraft. Punks.
Minecraft though.
Not even dungeons, just regular Minecraft. I didn't listen in, but I assume it starts off with the mic audio just fucking peaked coming in through only your left ear. And just some like squeaker, like, welcome to my Minecraft Let's Play. We're gonna be showing you some cool tricks today.
Never do that again.
Hey, I like my squeaker voice?
No. Not a fan.
Rude. You just can't. That's the sign of a good voice actor. You can make people feel things like discomfort.
Look, if you want to hear a bunch of annoying voices, you can watch the Muppet Babies cartoon.
Like, how bad? How bad is it?
I mean,
just, I guess, hit me with this metric. Does the nostalgia outweigh the annoyingness of the voices? Yes or no?
I mean, again, I haven't watched that show since I that was I can't go back to that situation. I was listening to a podcast about it like today.
Oh.
One of my the What a Cartoon podcast, where they'll go back to an old show and like talk about the history of the show and then break down a particular episode.
Okay.
And the thing that they reminded me about that show is that show is constantly like, okay, we're done with this scene. Now we're going to walk to the next scene. It's like there isn't editing. It's just like, this part's done. Now let's go over here. What are you doing?
Hell yeah.
You just like, you
Shuffle
hang out and watch the characters make flip books or whatever. Just like do what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a leisurely show. And they can go line, pause, line. And also it was all written by like one guy in like a month or whatever.
Oh. So what you're saying is that Muppet Babies is perhaps not as good as the Muppets.
Probably not. But it has footage of Star Wars in it. Like the other thing, like the reason that original show isn't on any streaming service is because like every episode just had footage from some movie or something that they had some like handshake agreement to let them use, but those rights are like a nightmare.
Yeah. That
I
checks
think
out.
there's like one episode where they use like a monster from like a porno movie.
Oh,
Like a stop
no.
motion monster.
Oh. Not the Muppets. Not the Muppet Babies.
It's like, yeah, it's the 80s. It's like they're just using some Steve Martin movie. Whatever.
Someone rolls into the studio coked up. Guys, I saw something last night that we need to put in the show.
I mean, I don't think there was a conversation because I think it was like one guy writing it.
So he just
all in a row.
So he
while
still
coked up.
So he still said it, but it was just to himself.
Yes. And there might have been multiple writers. Also, like every episode of that show has a song. They wrote songs.
Okay.
So those characters with their weird baby version voices of the Muppet characters all had to sing.
Yeah, now it's
Every
cursed.
episode.
Now it's no good. Yeah, that sounds like something I don't want to check out. I mean, I kind of
Star Wars, Ben.
I kind of do. Is it canon?
I mean, it's canon in that it's actual footage of, like, A New Hope and Return of the Jedi, but also, like, they're just Muppets in front of it.
I mean,
The fucking
like
opening theme to that
half
show
obligated.
has footage of Star Wars in it.
Oh,
Like,
man.
they're just, like, live-action Star Wars footage in its opening.
I've not seen it yet, but I've heard that Phineas and Ferb actually did a pretty good Star Wars parody.
I mean, I've heard Phineas and Ferb is good. I've just never watched it.
It is
That's another
quite
show
good.
that does, like, songs every episode.
Yes. I definitely downloaded that one. Like that show, because they took it off Netflix before I could finish it. Punks.
Wow. How rude.
Insanely rude. They didn't even ask me first.
Imagine if you got a notification asking if you were okay anytime anything was gonna get pulled off Netflix.
Fuck. They'd be spending a lot of money. Actually, I'm glad they don't do that because we're getting... I don't know if you know, but I don't know about international, but at least American Netflix is getting Seinfeld, but Office and Friends are leaving. It's the greatest trade deal. Greatest trade deal in the history of the world. In my opinion.
I wonder if people will actually just start watching Seinfeld instead.
Oh,
Just 'cause
absolutely.
People are more inclined to just watch whatever's on Netflix than actually watch those particular shows.
There's going to be a crazy resurgence of Seinfeld, I am sure. Like, people who've never... Because you got, it's old enough that, like, there's going to be people watching it who literally would never have seen it before in their entire life. And also, it's, like, it's not Friends, so it holds up well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I'm good. I'm good. I got my jab in at Friends.
I mean, Friends just isn't good.
There it is, yeah. Alright. Roll credits. Roll credits.
Oh,